If you want to gain mental toughness, if you want to go to the next level with your mindset, the belief in yourself to go achieve your dreams, you will not want to miss this video. Just a little disclaimer, before you watch this video, there might be a trigger warning going off. In this video, I'm talking to about 100 or so business leaders in my community. I'm talking about faith. I'm talking about mental toughness. I'm talking about the backbone of America, the backbone of the home being broken by the way that some of society is going. So, if you're one of those people who gets triggered really easily, then you may not want to watch this video. If you're somebody that wants to be more mentally tough, you're not easily triggered, and you want to go on and become successful or be mentally tough or be a winner, then you most definitely will want to watch this video.
Tyson is a world champion rodeo athlete. He lives abroad with his wife, Shay Fisher, who is a recording artist. She had 5 #1 hits in Australia. She's a businesswoman. She started her own clothing line. They have 3 wonderful kids, Praise, Risen, and Tyan.
Well, Joey, thanks for that introduction. Made me feel pretty good coming out here talking to you guys. You know, coming here today, I didn't know exactly who I'd be talking to. I didn't know the demographics, didn't know the age, and normally I do a lot of research when I go speaking at events. And the one thing that God kept telling me every time that I would pray about it, I would think about it, He just kept bringing up the word bold to me. Be bold. We're in a world right now that's all over the place. They're trying to teach our children, my children, about sexuality, about gender at 4 years old, at 5 years old. I was the recipient of learning about pornography at 6 years old, so I know what that can do to a man. It can literally keep you in invisible handcuffs for your entire life. That one stuck with me a long time. It was only by the grace of God that I got set free. So I see all this stuff. I travel a lot. I've been from the tip of Florida to the heights of Canada. I've been from Southern California to New York City. I've been from Australia to Tahiti. I've been all over the world. And I'm here to tell you that the Christian man is 100% under attack. And how does the enemy deceive? He begins to break down the fabric of the home, the family, what the man is supposed to lead. He begins to blur the lines of what a man is and what a woman is. What's going on right now? You can't use he anymore? What kind of BS is this? You can't say she, you could offend somebody? That to me is a trick of the enemy. That is the devil. That is a demon. How many of you are Christians in here? Give me a hand. Show me. We got everybody's Christian. So we all love the Lord, right? What is the number one thing that the enemy tries to do when he tries to penetrate your mind? Deceive. He tries to take your eye off the ball. I'm a cowboy, right? My thing is not the ball. It is the animal. It is the calf. I'm there to save its life. That's how my sport started. If you're trying to save your family, what's the number one thing the enemy's going to do? He's going to try to take your eye off your family and get it pointed on everything else. I'm the cowboy in pink. I do it for breast cancer awareness. I've been doing it for 15 years. A lot of people made fun of me for wearing a bright pink shirt all the time, but you know what? I don't give a damn. I love them anyway. I put a smile on my face. God bless me with all these fake teeth right here to smile with. I got knocked out. Lost my teeth. Had no money. I traded 6 months training on a horse for a new grill, as they say in today's society. Thank you, God, for giving me that amazing opportunity to lose all my teeth. Now I have an amazing smile, and I can use it. As I get into my talk, I'm going to go through a little bit of who I am, but understand that who I am is a Christian who is not afraid to be bold, who is not afraid to stand out and be absolutely different than everybody else. I don't give a damn what you think. I don't care where you come from. I love the Lord. That's it. It doesn't matter to me that I might offend you if I say the name Jesus. I did it on national television after they told me not to. I don't care. There's nothing that the world can take away from me that Jesus cannot give back. Am I speaking truth? So many times we get caught up in our things. I got a lot of things. I come from nothing. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you where my mom was pregnant with me here in just a second. We get caught up in our things. My business, my stuff, my boat, my truck, my clothes, all this stuff. But the truth is, do you actually even own any of that crap? You don't own it. If you're a Christian, you're renting it. And it's paid for with the price, with the cost. It's not paid for with the dollar that you see. I'm a capitalist. I own multiple companies. I lead my team. I talk to people all the time. I know about business. I got a lot to learn, Jesus. I know I have a lot to learn. But the truth is, I'm here and I'm paying rent every day by my actions. I'm paying rent by my smile. I'm paying rent by telling somebody about Jesus, even though it's uncomfortable. I'm paying rent with my actions every day. I know that everybody's watching, especially these guys. You guys know what the most important generation on earth is, it's the next one. These guys, these two right here. You guys have a head start because you're in this room. The number one thing that I did at your age was I thought, hey, I don't come from nothing. I don't have any money. I come from a broken home. At your age, I was addicted to pornography. I couldn't get away from it. In my house, it was common to have a stack of Playboys and dirty magazines this tall because my mom wasn't around. It was all men. Me, my dad, and 2 or 3 hired men and whatever cowboy was drifting through, and drinking and whiskey and fighting and pornography and what tail you could get was the only thing that mattered. Jesus wasn't even in my mind. Next time you guys click around on that iPhone, think about where you're clicking. Think about where you're going, okay? You young men, think about where you're going. You're in this room right now, you got a head start. You guys should attach yourself to one of these men and make their life so easy that they can't help but pour knowledge into you. You see, that's what I did because I come from nothing. Nobody in my family knew about business. Nobody in my family knew about marketing. Nobody in my family knew about anything. But I could simply time collapse because God gave me the wisdom to go and find the best people that I could find in any area, make their life so good by knowing me that they couldn't help to give back to me because it's a law of reciprocity. You guys ever had somebody give so much to you, you feel compelled to give back? That's how I feel when I fly to Mexico and help some little girl that's been trafficked by her dad. If I made it out, I can help that girl. You guys are all leaders. You guys are all business individuals in here. You have the opportunity to help these young men. A little bit about me. This is my family. This is my daughter Praise, like praise the Lord. This is my daughter Risen, like the King is risen. This is my son Tyson, like tying a calf. And I said, Lord. Matter of fact, I'm driving to New River every time I get one of my kids' names. I'm just praying. I'm like, Lord, I love tying because I tie calves and I put my hands in there. I'm like, what can I name my son? God says Tyson's good. I'm like, it doesn't flow. I got Praise Royal, like praise royalty. Risen Breeze, like the King is risen and the God comes through with the mighty breeze. And then I got Tyson Cross Durfee. And the guy said, look it up on Google. So I go to Google, I look it up. Guess what it means? Heavenly angel, Tyson Cross, heavenly angel on the cross. What was Jesus? He was perfection put to the cross for us. In the past, I've been a world champion rodeo athlete. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Without Christ, it is worthless. I worked for 32 years to get that title. 32 years of my life watching other guys come in first place. The 10th go around at the national finals for 8 times prior to me winning the championship. I would leave with tears in my eyes because I worked twice as hard as everybody else and I didn't get the championship. And to be frank, it pissed me off. And I'd go to God, I get on my knees, I say, God, why do you put this desire in my heart if you keep pulling it back? He said, keep going. So I went again to the national finals and again and again and again and again. I'm 30-some years old, I finally get the championship. At 30-something years old. That's not common for a first-time champion.
Let's make a deal. If you get value from this video, do me a favor, like and subscribe. And if you have a question, go ahead and leave a comment below because I will answer personally every single comment that comes in.
Every day before the national finals, I go to my hotel room, I get alone in a dark room, I stretch, I'm talking to God, I'm praying, I'm doing all this stuff. In the 7th go-round, funny how God talks with the number 7, right? In the 7th go-round, God says to me, I am with you. Now, mathematically, there was no way possible for me to be the champion. Anybody knows about the National Finals Rodeo knows it's 10 days of competition. I was the dark horse, the underdog. Within like $10, if everything worked out perfect, I could be the champion. God said, I am with you, because I spent time alone with him, because I prayed when I didn't want to pray, because I spent time in the Word, because I was vocal about it to everybody else. I was vocal about it to the other competitors I put on social media, which is something I believe is a good thing that the enemy is trying to pervert like everything else. I pray to God. What am I doing before the 10th go-around? I'm giving it all to him. Somehow, mathematically, I come from 7th place in the world in the 10th go-around. I worked my way from 14th, almost last place, to win a world championship. First thing I do, I go on TV, I praise God, because it's all him. Men, my point with that, don't forget the power of prayer. I was 32 years old right there. I'm going to skip over that because it doesn't matter. But this little kid right here, this confused little kid that was raised in the inner city of Kansas City, that then moved to the farm with his dad, who was obsessed with Biggie Smalls, with Tupac Shakur, with MC Hammer, went to be on the farm with my dad because my parents got divorced. I couldn't conceive anything other than where am I going to eat tomorrow at this point. That's it. This is the barn when my mom got pregnant. This is the barn my mom, my dad, my two brothers lived in, right here. Do you guys know how cold it is in the Midwest, November, December, and January, living in a barn? You will literally freeze your ass off. My mom was pregnant with me right there in that barn. So you say, well, how are you motivated? Because I don't want to go back. How do you stay pushing so hard? Because I don't want to go back. How do I stay away from pornography? Because I don't want to go back. How do I continuously try to level up? Being an athlete's one thing, but being a business person is another. Why are all athletes broke? Because they can't make the shift. I refuse to go back. I correlate this to the devil. This is not me. This may be where I came from, but this is not me now. Think about yourself. I'm sure all of you guys didn't grow up being perfectly successful with everything perfect, but yet as Christians, we put that out into the world. This is who we are. We're perfect. We don't sin. Well, I'm here to tell you, every man in my family is an alcoholic. I don't drink. I was introduced to pornography at 6 years old. I don't do it anymore because I'm not going back. I have a highly addictive personality. I'm ADD and dyslexic, means I go really fast and I go backwards a lot. I refuse to go back. Everything in my life that I do, whether it's a business, whether it's roping, whether it's horsemanship, I want to be the best dude in the planet Earth. I want to be the best because I know the devil's knocking on my door. It would be so easy for me to slip back into it. It would be so easy to go back into pornography. It'd be so easy for me to pick up another bottle just like every other man in my family. I refuse to go back. Men, don't forget that because we're Christian, we don't have to put out that we're perfect. Matter of fact, we better put out that we're not perfect. Think about everybody in the Bible. There was one perfect person.
John 1 verse 14 reads, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. Glory is of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth." Jesus didn't just look like a person. He was a person, a perfect one.
His name was Jesus Christ. Everybody else was tax collectors, liars, everybody. But guess what? They were bold. Was Moses bold? He was bold. Was Jesus bold? Yes, he was bold. He didn't fit in. He did things differently. You go all through the New Testament. Paul, formerly Saul, was he bold? Growing up a Pharisee, he knew what he was doing could lead to death, but yet he did it anyway. Everywhere. He was bold. Man, you have nothing to lose. The stuff you think you have is all rented anyway. And if you're business people, you know that if you lose it, you can get it back. I don't care how old you are. If there's air in your lungs, you still have value. If there's blood pumping through your heart, you still have value. Take it out to this community. Take it out to Parker County. I'm telling you, our world is perverted right now. So who's the answer? Who is the answer? Who's the answer to fix it? Who do you think? Jesus. How does Jesus present himself to the world? Through us. It's our job. It's our job to say no to certain things, to say yes to certain things. Think about your childhood. Think about where you came from. Think about the next generation. I challenge each one of you to go look at what I posted today on Instagram. Look what I'm feeding my kids. They're not going to school learning about trans, LGBT, KFG, whatever it is. They're not learning about any of that junk. They're learning about how to be mentally tough. They're learning about success. They're learning about failure. I refuse to let my children go out and be soft into the world. Because if I do that, they're an extension of me. And I serve a king who is incredible because I ain't going back there. It's not happening. I challenge you guys to figure out how to do that for your family, to your wife, to your grandkids. You guys are leaving a legacy. Could be men in this room right now that go on and change things. We're living in a fallen world. I talk to people all the time. They say the end of the times are coming, the end of times are coming. But the truth is, if you have a microphone, which you do, whether you have 1 million followers on social media or 1 follower, or your Governor Huckabee there, who is one of my very close personal friends, and he's a sponsor of mine, and he's been a mentor for about 8 years, you have a platform. Your household looks at you. If you don't have a wife, someday she will look at you. And if she sees weak, if she sees a non-leader, what do you think she's going to do? She's not going to back you up when times get tough. And then you're going to self-sabotage by alcohol, drugs, other women, pornography. You young men, listen to this. There's some other men in here that are close to my age. Pay attention. The devil will come knock at about 35, 40, and he'll try to tear it all down, everything you spent your whole life building. Be bold. Everybody in the New Testament is bold. All of them, all the way through. But it starts with you. Why don't we live like people in the New Testament? Why not? It's because the enemy has clouded our judgment with things. And trust me, I've got a big ranch and a big indoor arena. I got 3 trucks. I got all this stuff. But you know what? If it went away tomorrow, I don't care. If some kid come up to me and I have a heart for sexually trafficked children, and they said, Mr. Durfee, I need $10,000, or this man's going to take me, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to do whatever it takes. I would sell everything. I don't care because I know I can get it back. Once you've experienced the grace of God and you are like me and you were literally raised in a barn to going to heights to know presidential candidates, to CEO of Fortune 500 companies, to wear $1 billion companies on your shirt, you know that it can come back that fast. With the power of God, it can come back that fast. With the power of God, my friends, anything is possible. But you have to understand the number one place the enemy is going to attack you is right here. 2 Timothy 1:7, for the Spirit of the Lord does not make me timid, but gives me power, love, and a sound mind. A sound mind. So when you're thinking those thoughts, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, I'm not smart, that's the damn enemy. You have to learn to discern between the two voices and understand it in real time, not later at night when you recap. See, I'm in prayer all day long. All day long. When the thought comes in, Tyson, you're dumb as a box of rocks, which I believed. I believed it. I was in every learning disability class. I was made fun of constantly in school. I took 1 bath per week because you know what? It ain't easy when you're farming to take baths. I wore the same clothes every damn day. I believed it. But that's a trick of the enemy. Now through hard work, effort, determination, grit, reading my Bible, getting on my knees, I know what God has for me. Tyson, you're getting too old. You're 40 years old. You have no value. Your athletic career is almost over. BS, get away from me. BS, get away from me. Trick of the enemy, not going to happen. When you guys think you can't do something, you begin to justify it in your mind. You have to be pushing it out. Take every thought captive. It's submitted to the will of Christ. My friends, I'm a vessel for God. I'm not smart. I've taken multiple IQ tests and I've never gotten better than average. I promise you. I'm ADD, I'm dyslexic, I can barely read, but I can hire people that can. One thing I constantly tell myself is who, not how. Who can I get to do this, not how. My granddad was on the first wave Normandy Beach D-Day, about a 90% casualty. Radio's original frogman cut the barbed wire out of the water so the men in the boats could get there. He raised my dad raised me. My granddad was born in the Depression. So I was very much raised with, I have to do everything myself. Anybody relate to that? My employees aren't as good as me. Nobody can do it as good as I do, so I have to. That's a trick of the enemy. You empower your team, you give them SOP, standard operating procedures, you reward good behavior, and you make sure they execute good checks and balances. You will find people that can do things far better than you. I can do it all myself. Nobody can do it as good as me is a trick of the enemy because it's a limiting belief. Gentlemen, it's harder for older people to get this through their head, but at your age, it's who, not how. You guys probably are young entrepreneurs or going to be entrepreneurs. If you're in this room, like I said, you're at a head start. It's who, not how. You need to understand, have a good enough grasp to make a decision quickly, but you don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to. I know that chinks a lot of guys, could chink me for a long time, but I'm constantly reflecting, God, what limiting beliefs do I have and when did I get them? When I have a limiting belief, I go back to my childhood when it was put in my head and I rebuke it and I move forward. Tyson, you're dumb as a box of rocks. I love my father. He's a good man. He told me I was dumb and never amount to anything almost every day my entire life. You're no good. You're worthless. Do I think he believed that? No, I don't think he believed that. I just think that's a vocabulary he knew. He was taught that by his dad who was raised in depression.
Dad, we got to seal the deal, you and me. Let's have that firm cowboy handshake. Yep. We shake each other's hand, we look each other in the eye, and we say to each other, I will bring you value because I promise that I will bring value as much as I know. I'll teach you everything that I know about being a world champion, being a successful business person, being mentally tough and mentally strong. I promise that I'll bring that to you every time I bring one of these videos. In return, on that firm handshake, I'd love for you to like and subscribe to this channel. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this message, please share it.
And the last thing I'm going to put out to you guys is you have the opportunity to break this stuff off right now. Why am I so prevalent on social media? Why do I put this stuff out? Why do I go through the extra effort? You think I know how to run a camera? I'm a freaking cowboy. I know how to saddle a horse. I do it because God has given you a megaphone. And if I can take something like social media that the enemy has perverted like everything else in our life and use it for his kingdom and his good to spread honesty, integrity, cowboy ethics, the kingdom of Jesus' name, why not? Governor Huckabee told me one thing, and this is what I'll say in closing. He said, Tyson, you ever seen the photo of the Holocaust and all the shoes piled up? I mean, tall as this room, the shoes that were taken off, all the dead, and they were piled up to a room as tall as this. Each one of those shoes had a soul. and not the soul that was on the bottom, the soul that lived in it, that worked through it. That represented all the dead people. That happened because good people did nothing and kept their damn mouths shut. If you're a Christian, man, you're not called to stay quiet. People like to cherry pick scripture. Christian man, turn the other cheek, do nothing. Did Jesus not turn over the tables? He did. It's up to us. If we want to fix this whole situation going on in the world, it's not going to happen by government. I know we have service people in it. It's not going to happen by the government, because these guys, they can see the pukes of society. It's not going to happen by government. It's going to happen by each and every one of us sharing Jesus, but not jamming it down people's throat and pushing them away. Saying, hey, you see me with a good family? You see me with an attractive wife, a woman that loves me, that I love her? You see me with businesses working? You see me with world championships? I can't tell you that you should do this, but this is how I got it. You can share your story. Do not discount your story. Your story can help somebody else. You see, we tend to play this thing in our head. We discount the story in our head because, oh, little old me. When you were in school, you were taught to sit down and shut up and be quiet, be a quiet little boy. And a lot of us carry that with us through our whole life. Sit down and be quiet. The school system was not built for young boys, young men, young leaders. It was not built for it. We still carry a lot of that. I beg you not to be quiet, not to sit down, not to just let this filth continue to flourish in our society. It's not the government's job. It's not the school's job. It's your job. It's your job. It's your job. It's your job by being a light that other people can see, by understanding, these other people understanding this person is this way because of Jesus, not because of $1 million. I hope that the words I brought to you can lift you up, can push you to do something different, because my blood boils when I see 4, 5, and 6-year-old kids exposed to trash. Am I going to sit down and shut up? It is not going to happen. I will go further than anybody else. I will be more mentally tough. I will be stronger than everybody else. And I will not let that kid down. Because that kid, that was me.
And so 2 things at the end of this video. Number 1, there are a ton of free resources in the description below. So click there, grab one of those free resources, because I can't wait to serve you. Number 2, yeah, click that video up there. It's right here. Go ahead and click it, because I promise it will serve you on another level as well. Have a good day. Adios.